step two, or my second step, second trait, second way to enhance coach-athlete relationships is to be committed to your athletes. As coaches, sometimes I think that might be easier said than done. And my athletes have certainly talked to me about that. We ask so much from our athletes and our kids that they ask for obviously something in return for us. And I'm not the perfect coach, but I would never say that I was. And that's something that a couple of my athletes talked to me about this year in our individual meetings, is that last year at parts of the season I didn't seem very engaged in what was going on, and obviously that's my fault, and I think I'm humble enough to admit that I wasn't as engaged, part of it due to dissertation work, part of it due towards annual class, but my athletes, they talk to me about that, so that's something that I need to work on myself for this season. So I tried to plan my work schedule and my meetings blocked off for the mornings, so I don't have to get called in for one of those late sessions that for some reason happen more often than I'd like to share with my job. You show up, and then at 12 o'clock sometimes you get an email saying you need to stay for a 4 o'clock meeting or a 5 o'clock meeting, and that's unfortunately that's my real world job, so I need to make sure I take care of that in order to take care of my family, as do other coaches. But I've made a real point for this season to block off specific time in my schedule, so I know that there shouldn't be any interruptions besides commitment that way in regards to time, more of a commitment to working with each athlete individually. So we have 5 athletes this season. We have 4 returning throwers and a freshman. So rather than what we've done in the past with having cookie cutter approach to practices and lifting, everything is more individualized this year. Judd Logan always says that the best program is the one that you are not on in regards to weightlifting and training. I believe that, but I also believe that if an athlete is convinced that they are going to get better by just doing barbell curls and tricep pushdowns, then all the power to them. The interesting thing with the commitment to athletes and athlete commitment to you is I don't think that every athlete is going to believe me and everything that comes out of my mouth 100% of the time. And I don't need them necessarily to believe me all the time, but they need to believe in me and believe in what we are trying to put together for them, that it's in their best interest. So let me repeat that. And with athletics or anything in that matter, any type of relationships, I don't need to necessarily believe my strength and conditioning coach all the time. I have a coach who's writing some programming for me to get ready for a powerlifting meet that I'm going to be competing in later in the spring. And I don't necessarily believe everything 100% of the time, but I believe in him as a person, as an individual. His resume speaks for itself, so I know that he's able to coach other athletes and help them achieve their goals, and that's really what I'm interested in. Someone that I can believe in and that I believe has my best interest at heart. And that's similar with coaching. When I was an athlete back at Fredonia, my senior year, my coach was somebody who had never thrown before, but he had competed at the 96 and 2000 Olympic trials in the long jump and the triple jump. So I believed in him, that his programming and his psychological prowess and the conversations we had would help me get better as a thrower, as a senior in college. I didn't necessarily believe everything that he said all the time. He had never thrown before. I thought I knew everything, right? Being a senior on top of the world, but totally mediocre when it comes to distances. But I believed in him, and I believed in him in the fact that I thought he had my best interests at heart. And it was the best season I ever had as a college athlete. So I think that's important when we're talking about commitment to our athletes and our athletes' commitment to us. Is I don't need all of my athletes to necessarily believe me 100% of the time, but I do need them to believe in me, to believe that what we're programming for them and why we're doing certain things in practice is going to ultimately benefit them in the long run. And that's why I feel that a commitment to your athletes is important in order to enhance those coach athletes. All right, guys, trait 3 on ways to enhance your coach-athlete relationships. Show a genuine interest in your athletes and what they have to say and what they have to offer and bring to the table. We're a small private D3 school, so our athletes are non-scholarship athletes, and 99.9% of them are probably not going to throw post-collegiately. So I have 4 years to try and get the best I can out of my athletes. So one of the ways that I help, or I try and develop a better relationship with them, is by showing a genuine interest in what they have to say and them as individuals and people. So I try and remember siblings' names, parents' names, for the parents that come to our track meets here in the Rochester area. Trying to speak to them as often as I can. And when I do speak to our athletes' parents, it's not usually always about track, it's more about everything else. How's life going? How is school going? Do they ever share anything with you about having difficulty with grades or difficulty with anything at school? And if the parents say yes, then it's my job to try and provide them with some other type of service or program that Nazareth College has to offer that can help them whatever they're having issues with. So if it has to do with having poor grades, or if the parents are concerned about graduating on time or whatever, I try and help the parents as best I can by pointing their child in the right direction. So we've had some athletes that have needed tutoring, counseling services, and that's not just at NASA, Fredonia as well. I make it a point to talk to the other coaches about those conversations that I have with the parents of our throwers, just to see if there's what we can do as a team, as a coaching staff team, to help, to better able to help our athletes. Learning about your athletes' majors and what they're interested in pursuing later. I find that most of our practices, now this is for better or worse, most of our practices, sometimes the major conversation is about coursework or classes or how things are going. Sometimes playing that dad role that I just talked about, which is fine. And some people would probably say, well, you need to check that stuff at the door. It's difficult sometimes for some kids, depending on what they're going through. And I'm not a psychologist. By trade, I'm not that type of doctor. I'm a doctor that likes to read and write and publish articles and write book chapters. So I'm not a psychologist by any stretch of the imagination. But I do know if an athlete comes in and they have a certain demeanor about themselves, that practice might not go a certain way. And that just takes time in getting to know your athletes. I have some athletes that they wear their feelings on their sleeve, right? That's the old expression. So I know when they come in and they're not smiling, or they're not looking very happy or enthusiastic to be there, I know that there's something else that's probably going on in their lives. And I wouldn't know that